Artifact is the latest game by Valve, and with a foundation in Dota 2 and a new take on digital collectible card games, it looks to be unlike anything they've made before. Development for Artifact began in late 2014, with Richard Garfield, of Magic the Gathering fame, as the lead designer. It started when Garfield approached Valve to make an electronic trading card game that could capture the epic qualities you sometimes got in paper card games. So the core of the game was a digital-first collectible card game that solved the problems Magic has, and the addition of Dota characters and lore came as a way to facilitate development, as it was found to be very profitable as far as getting good game mechanics.
Like, people look at the game and they say, you've got 3 lanes, you've got these heroes. Richard, how did it feel being constrained by the lore of Dota? And I say, Valve told me you have no constraints, do whatever the best game is. But looking at Dota, it's a rich supply of game concepts, and that led to some of the most exciting things in Artifact. The 3 towers is a really good example. I've been thinking about the fact that in card games it's really nice to play matches, 2 out of 3. And I feel disappointed when I play a game online and then I'm matched with somebody else and I don't get a chance to play the other 2 games to see if I won just by luck or whether I lost but could change my strategy. And so when we began looking at the towers, which is very inspired by Dota, of course, it felt to me like playing 3 games all at once. Yeah. And you get to win 2 out of 3, you're supposed to win 2 out of 3. And so this carries with it sort of this epic quality that you feel like in one sitting you've played through a match.
So, how do you play Artifact? You play Artifact with a 40-card deck that includes 5 heroes from up to 4 colors, ranging from red, black, blue, and green. There are 3 lanes that you play across that each has a tower with 40 health, which you must protect. Destroy the tower in a lane and an ancient appears in its place with 80 health. You win the match by either destroying the ancient or the towers in 2 separate lanes. At the beginning of the game, 1 hero deploys into each lane along with random creeps. Heroes that die are redeployed after sitting out 1 full round. Heroes can be modified with equipment to affect their stats, and changes are persistent to their hero throughout the match. Each lane has its own mana pool starting at 3 and increasing by 1 with each full round completed. You can only play cards of the color of the hero or heroes in the lane you are casting from. You go back and forth playing spells with your opponent until both of you pass, at which time combat resolves simultaneously and you move into the next lane. The player who first passed on playing spells in the previous lane then has initiative and plays first in the new lane. As you destroy enemy cards, you earn gold, which can be spent in between rounds. However, you can have any number of creatures in play at the same time, as well as you can have any number of cards in your hand. However, outside of the strict mechanics and sequencing of gameplay, Artifact looks to be the first game to offer players inherent value to their collections by allowing them to buy and sell their cards through the Steam marketplace. As such, players can either collect cards by opening booster packs or buying the specific cards they need, much in the same way players do with physical collectible card games. Also of note, the game will launch with full live chat function enabled, allowing players free ability to communicate with each other during a match. Now that is a rough overview, with considerably more to be covered and discovered, but for someone interested in Artifact that plays Magic or Hearthstone, what should you keep in mind?
The first piece of advice I give to somebody coming to this from other card games is that they can't really think of it as a card game they're used to, in that the complexity of the game, the strategic state is much broader than they're used to. Huh. So I usually tell them to think of it as like a MOBA or a real-time strategy game, but set on cards. Like in a real-time strategy game or a MOBA, you have to keep track of an immense amount of stuff, and you've got a lot of time pressure. This this is closer to that than it is a card game.
And so despite having a famously rocky initial public impression, the more that's been shown, seen, and discussed about Artifact, the more excitement has built up around a game that we can't wait to officially be able to play and share with you. Artifact launches November 28th, for $20 on Steam. If you like this, remember to hit that thumbs up, and if you want to see more Artifact news and gameplay, hit subscribe to catch what's next. Until then, cheers!